The sound of the gate creaked open as you walked in the gate. It was unlocked. You knew at this point that your parents knew you snuck out. Great, you mumbled to yourself, walking forward, the rain pouring down as you walked. You were soaked, absolutely drenched. You could smell the hint of pie. You noticed as you started walking towards your house. A loud boom as 3 lightning strikes hit behind it. Its scary, cold exterior greeted with the warm, yellowy gold glows from inside. Greeted you as you walked forward. You smiled as you walked to it, the rain still pouring down, and then stopping as you walk under the canopy type area that you have. The cold rain no longer hitting your skin. You liked it. A cat mewed. Shh, I'm gonna get you inside and then we'll see what happens. You hushed her. She simply just tucked back into your hoodie as you walked in. The door also unlocked, meaning very well that indeed your parents knew you were awake and out of the house. You walked in and the strong smells of pie, cinnamon, vanilla, and other sorts of pastry treats hit your nose. You walked past the kitchen, where there were food and pastries already fixed. Clearly they either felt bad for your fight or they're trying to butter you up. You weren't too sure. You dropped something on the ground, unmeaning to knock it over, but you didn't bother cleaning it up as you dragged the mud through the house. You walked up your stairs, where you lived on the very top floor with the round window. You walked up and closed the door behind y'all, her jumping out of your hoodie as soon as it happened, but then greeted with the freezing cold floor. She hopped up on your bed. Hey, no, you're soaked along with me. You get off my bed, you demanded. She simply just looked at you and proceeded to sit down on it, looking at you as if you challenged her. Ugh, you muttered. You went to the bathroom and grabbed a couple towels, bringing them into your room, setting them on your bed. You grabbed one of them and then threw it on top of her as you picked her up, drying her off. She hissed at you loudly and continued to hiss at you as you slowly dried her off. Oh shush, do you want to catch a cold? I will kick you right back out of this house, you muttered, almost in a whisper to her, not wanting to alert your parents. She simply just hissed, and then proceeded to just stop after a while, taking your message. Weird, you thought. You finished drying her off before going into the bathroom and drying yourself off, changing into an identical hoodie and a pair of shorts. You walk out and you leave your muddy shoes in the bathroom. You grab your hair dryer and you plugged it up into your room and proceeded to brush and dry your hair. You could see her scatter as she did not like that loud noise. You eventually finished and put it down and then went to her, dragged her out from underneath the drawer she was hiding in, and then sat her back on the bed. You grabbed something that resembled almost a bandana and you tied it around her ears, muffling her sound, as you grabbed the hairdryer and proceeded to blow dry her as well, her fur still damp from how thick it was. After a while of drying her, you set it down and realized how fluffy and puffy she got. Her fur also lightened slightly, as you realized that her fur must have had a lot of gunk on it. And you should probably see if you can convince her to get a bath, you thought. Alright, here we go, you mumbled, hearing the sound of your footsteps down below. Attracting your parents' attention, they walk out. There you are, a deep voice replied. Hey, Dad, you muttered. What were you doing out? You know there's a villain. Yeah, I know. You cut him off. So, I have a question, you said, squinting your eyes at your father. And what is this question? Your father said passive-aggressively. She poked her head out and went down the stairs as she heard you and someone going back and forth. Her little head peeked around the corner. What? Your father mumbled, seeing a cat. It's a cat, you muttered. Why is there a cat in our house? He asked, looking over at you. Well, you rubbed the back of your neck. So she was in the park and it was pouring the rain. Do you see how skinny she is? You exclaimed, picking her up, showing her with your hands. She's awfully tiny too, your father said with a weird accent. So, can we keep her? You said with a wide, awkward smile. Your father looked up at you for a moment, before back down to the cat in your arms. Sure, she's awfully fuzzy, but you better ask your mother too, he explains. Alright, thanks, you whispered, almost accomplished, happy that actually went smoother than you thought. Yo, Mom, you yelled through the house, and the muffled, don't yell in my house, can be heard from down the hall. Got a question, you called back. She came stomping in the rooms, looking at you. Why were you yelling, and what is your question, if it's so important? Before her eyes landed on the cats you just held in your arms. Can we keep her? Your mother blinked at you blankly. Sure, whatever. Before going back into the other room. Yes! You exclaimed, setting her back down. You walked over to the front door as well, grabbing the other pair of bright neon-type boots you have. You slipped them on and proceeded to go back to your room, where you leaned up against one of the walls as she walks in behind you. Told you it'd work. You breathed a sigh of relief when you said. She exclaimed. I couldn't understand you, you mumbled to her. She looked up at you with an almost very cute expression as she rubbed her head against one of your boots. You knew that normally when she'd done this, she wanted pets. But a part of you felt like it's weird now, since she is a werecat after all. But with her fuzzy, mega fluff fur, and you honestly loving her like if she was a real cat of yours. You gave in, and you bent down and you started petting her, as she put her two front paws up on your chest. You honestly loved petting her very soft fur. But now that you look at it, she does have a bunch of gunk in her fur. You mumbled. You could feel her belly growl as you started petting around her stomach area. You realized you probably need to eat. And so does she. Alright, let's go. Let's see if there's anything cats say for you to eat. He laughed. She opened her mouth to exclaim something. She was going to, but then she just closed it. You smiled at her softly as you picked her up, lifting her like she was a little baby, and walking down the steps again. I have to walk down these steps so often, you mumbled to yourself. You got to the kitchen, where you found all the pastries, and also fish. You never liked fish too much, depending on what kind it was, but you figured you could probably feed her this. You grabbed a plate and got a bunch and stuff like that, along with your favorite kind of pie and a couple of sweets. And you walked upstairs with the cat and the plates in your hands. You could almost see her mouth watering at the smell. You laughed a little bit to yourself as you watched, going back upstairs and setting the food down. You portioned the fish between you two, along with keeping all the candy and pie for yourself, 'cause ain't no way she's getting it. She ate, and she honestly had the cutest little numb sounds you've ever heard. You never heard her eat, but you knew that she'd probably been a while since her last meal. So, you mumbled. Where are you originally from? If you turned back to your werecat form anyways, you gestured with your hands. She looked up at you for a moment before regrowing back to her original state. I'm not really from anywhere, she mumbled. Really? You questioned with a curious face. I don't even remember where really I was born. I've just been on my own, she mumbled, again grabbing a fish with her hand, or her paws rather, and proceeded to eat more. He mumbled. That's sad. I'm sorry to hear. Why? You can't miss someone you've never really met, she exclaimed with a smile. True, I guess, he mumbled. Enjoying the food? I am. What kind of fish is this? She said with a slightly higher tone. It is, catfish, I believe, he said with a smile. She hummed, eating some more. A burning question popped into your head, now wanting to know how she survived this long. So, yeah, can I ask something without you getting mad at me? You said with a very, very wide grin. Go for it, she mumbled. How did you survive all this long? I mean, no offense, but you are homeless. Smiled some. She just looked up at you. I literally quite preyed on people like you. She laughed. What? You looked shocked. You weren't the only one. It was this very, very kind old lady. She used to buy cat food for me, she said, closing her eyes. It was actually pretty good. When, she passed, she had said with a sadder face. That's interesting. You turned your head. Yeah. And now my second one. He had just randomly disappeared, she mumbled. She's getting harder for you to hear as she continued to get quieter. Are you tired? You asked. She mumbled, closing her eyes, clearly trying to drift to almost stay awake, but still drift into sleep. You hummed. She quickly transformed into her cat form after saying that. She looked up at you with her little glowing necklace and glowing paws reflecting off the cold floor. You want to go to bed? If you want anyways, you mumbled. She hummed in a cat-type tone. Alright then. You smiled to yourself. You picked her up and set her up on your shoulder. You finished your food until it was done and proceeded to put the plates on the shelf. Your bed was already made because your mother was always strict about that sort of stuff, and proceeded to take your shoes off. You took your hoodie off and put on a tank top and snuggled into your bed, where she was also sitting. She got up though and, surprised to your surprise, snuggled up to you. You didn't expect her to do so. Do you care or something? You mumbled in a playful tone. She hissed at you, but then snuggled into your shoulder deeper. Alright, I get it. You mumbled, turning out the lamp to your left. You could hear her softly begin to purr as she starts drifting to a sleep-like state. You felt almost bad for her, but now you have a little old companion. You honestly felt a great love for her before you realized she was a literal werecat and a monstrosity known as a murderer. But hey, you smiled to yourself with a thinking. But at least you'll get your old life back. You yawned, just listening to her purr as you slowly drift off to sleep. You don't remember much after that. All you know is that you had a very warm and pleasant dream, as the smell of the house, the warm temperatures, and the storm raging outside left for an interesting ambience. The light purring just complementing it. You could feel her adjust herself some and snuggle into you, laying more on her side. You honestly found it adorable before you were finally blacked out and went to bed. Sorry about my voice. I got a little rusty, but I also tried to make it to where she was getting tired. I hope y'all enjoyed though. Sorry, I've been trying to do this video for a couple of days now, but I got, turned away. By that I mean busy. And also I will let you know, I got a bunch of them out, but I'm talking with like an S-wisp, where it's almost like a whistle, and I'm sorry for that. It's been like that for a couple of days. I'm also sorry for any long pause or word mistakes within this that I couldn't quite cut out. I hope you enjoyed part 2. May odds be in your favor, my friend. Please like and sub, I will appreciate it. Bye bye.